This week on Storyboard, we have Prashant Peres, Managing Director, Kellogg South Asia, speaking to us about their new Masterbrand campaign, new product pipeline, growth plans and much more. And we have Cleartrip CEO Ayyappan giving us a quick recap of the company's growth in 2022 and the growth strategy for 2023. Hello and welcome to Storyboard. I'm Shibani Gharat. Kellogg India has announced a new Masterbrand campaign, Kuch Kar Dikhane Ki Bhook, that highlights the importance of wholesome, nutritious breakfast for children. Along with that, the brand has also announced the launch of a new campaign with actor and fitness enthusiast Milind Soman to showcase its muesli granola offerings. To tell us more about both these campaigns and the trends in the evolution of muesli granola category in India, the scope of growth for the newly launched product portfolio and how Indians are eating breakfast today, we are catching up with Prashant Peres, Managing Director, Kellogg South Asia. Prashant, welcome to CNBC-TV18 again.
Thank you so much.
Prashant, tell us about your new Masterbrand campaign, Kuch Kar Dikhane Ki Bhook. If you can tell us the thought behind this and the genesis of the whole campaign.
We've always believed that nourishing your great is actually our purpose, and our CSR activity and a lot of the volunteering we do is all around helping kids get a great start to the day. Yeah. Now that same thing translates into what I believe every mom wants for their child. So a mother, when she sends a kid out to school, wants to send them with the right nutrition and nourishment, that they have the energy to do whatever they want to for that first part of the day. And you know, the insights that we got, very interestingly, I can tell you, I got an insight from a school teacher we were speaking to who said, I can tell the kids, you know, who've not had breakfast or who overeaten for breakfast because they're too lethargic. So some are really listless and some are lethargic. So, and she was a muesli consumer and she said, you know, that's why I look for the right breakfast and the right start to the day. And that was the genesis of this campaign. It's all about setting kids up to achieve whatever they have the hunger to achieve.
Yeah, so you have started this year with this Masterbrand campaign. Also, you're ramping up your portfolio with a couple of new launches right at the start of the year. One being, of course, the Kellogg's Pro muesli. If you can tell us more about that, and will we see further more launches as we, as the year progresses?
For sure, right? We're going to see a lot of action from Kellogg, but let me start by talking a little about Pro Muesli. Pro Muesli, of course, stands for protein muesli, and it's 100% plant-based protein, right? So it's good for those who, if somebody follows a diet which is all the way to vegan, I mean, they can have it with, you know, almond milk, and you've got a breakfast that's 100% vegan as well. But the main thing is plant-based protein doesn't often taste great, right? Many of the protein products, I would say, in the market, they always come with a taste penalty. Now, what we're really proud about is here's a muesli that I believe tastes as good as any of our other muesli products, but still gives you almost 25% of your daily requirement of protein.
And what is the scope of growth for a product like this, Prashant, according to you?
I think there is a huge need and a huge realization now of a need for the right amount of protein in the diet that we have in India, right? And sometimes if people go into the details, they will realize that they can be a little deficient in terms of their protein, and especially adults, but also kids, right? And that's why we've launched this product. It allows somebody, you know, very often protein products are seen to be products for only people who are going to the gym and, you know, into building muscle mass, but that's not true. Everybody requires them. And that's what we've done with this product. We've made it democratic for anybody to enjoy.
Yes, and in general, we have seen that oats and muesli is like, and it's growing as a subcategory in breakfast cereals. It's growing over the past couple of years. Plus, the Indian millets are also back in vogue. You know, everyone wants to consume those. So what is going to be your approach, you know, in that direction in the coming days?
Let me start by talking about muesli. I think this is the category that's been growing the fastest among all, and very happy to say that we're very strong market leaders in the muesli category, just like we are in, you know, the kids category or in cornflakes, right? We've built this category in some ways, and what we've done is, first of all, we've demystified what muesli is all about. Let's be honest, maybe 5 or 10 years back, a lot of us would have not known what a muesli really is. So we've spent a lot of time as market leaders demystifying and telling people really about what goes into muesli. And fundamentally what muesli is really the best we pull together of different grains and add to it natural nourishment in the forms of fruits, nuts and seeds, right? And that's what we pull together in our core products, and then we tweak up and down flavors, and some people don't want nuts and we have only fruits and things like that. But that's fundamentally what muesli is. And we are very happy to say that the simple task of demystifying and telling people what it is has helped the category grow. Over and above that, I believe what we've done is we've made sure that the taste delivery of this product is really good. And this is again where I believe we have an edge, because we deliver nourishment and nutrition but without a compromise on taste.
Wonderful. Prashant, as a category leader, I want to understand and know from you, how are Indians consuming breakfast today?
If you go around any room, and this could be in Mumbai, but it could be in any city in India, and you ask people, what do you have for breakfast? I think 10 different people will most likely give you 10 different answers, because we are such a rich and diverse nation in terms of food habits, and we've got everything from slightly westernized habits. So you'll have people having bread and eggs and things like that, and then you'll have the Indian breakfast as well. But what you will not hear, sometimes people tell you, because they probably don't realize it themselves, that probably 25% of people are actually skipping or skimping on breakfast. They're getting away with a couple of pieces of biscuit or just a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and that's not the right start to the day. So in many ways, the first thing that we are positioning ourselves again is people who are actually doing that, and we're saying get the right nutrition and get the right start to the day. And because we are positioning it that way, I think in the end, the morning time is a rush time for everybody. So somebody who can combine great nutrition, nourishment, great taste and convenience, they are going to win the day. And I think we do that with all our products, right? So that's our winning formula. And naturally, we've grown penetration a lot in the last couple of years. So it tells us somewhere that that need is being felt by more and more consumers.
So penetration even in the non-urban markets, because eating breakfast cereals is fairly an urban phenomena in a country like ours. So what is your approach there?
Let me start by saying that our focus is urban, but in the past the focus would have been urban metro only, right? I think now we're really looking at all urban India, right? And we have already started making some inroads into rural, but I think that's a relatively small part of our business. Our bigger market is naturally the urban market, and we still have a lot of runway to go in urban itself. So if in the past, let's say the penetration and consumers were largely focused only in the big metros, or the top 10 or top 20 cities, I can tell you now it's spread right across, right? And of course there's a spectrum. So the metros will be a little ahead and probably at maybe a 20% penetration. The average is at 15, and the rest maybe a little bit, there'll be few at 10.
So what's working in these markets though, Prashant?
I think what's working is really this combination that I spoke about. I think we've been very consistent, especially with our biggest brand, which is Chocos, which talks to kids, and it's a great way for it to enter the house. Great taste, great nutrition, and very convenient. Kids have it in a jiffy. That's what the mom wants in the end. It has to go in. It goes in with a whole glass of milk. That's the big bonus, and it still fills the stomach. So that's a great entry point. You also know that cornflakes, while it's so ubiquitous, you can add so many things depending on what your favorite is. So I love having cornflakes actually with bananas, and all the benefits of bananas.
Are you also playing with your pack mix to further, probably increase penetration in markets beyond urban metros? Is that true? Are you launching newer SKUs for some of the new launches of your products?
But what we are doing is we are introducing some of our favorite variants, which were till now, let's say, available only in big boxes, in pouches at 99 rupees. So let's take almond honey corn, which is another one of my favorite products. It's really absolutely great. So cornflakes with real honey and almonds, you can't ask for a better treat in the morning. And that product is now available at a smaller pack size, which again allows people to try it. And we're going to be doing more and more of that. As soon as we see that there's good traction, we'll try and drive trials further by getting the pack size down and lowering the outlay with which people come into the category.
You took the reins of the company, I think, about a year ago. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, it's about a year now.
So what was the mandate back then, and how much of it has been achieved in the past 1 year? And it has been a fairly challenging year for the industry at large.
First of all, the reason for me to join Kellogg and the reason I'm so excited about it is I think we are really poised at a time in India where the need for nutrition or nourishment is probably at the highest it's ever been before. And as far as a brand is concerned, in the equity that Kellogg's has in this space is probably among the top 2 or 3 brands in the country. So if you think of a nutrition nourishment brand, Kellogg's will be one of the things that people will name. Therefore, the mandate is one that we've done well in the last year. Happy to say it was a tough year, heavy inflation and very high bases as we came out of COVID. So to be able to grow strongly on that kind of a base and with all the headwinds of inflation, something we're very proud of. But in the years to come, I mean, we believe that we've got to double this business. And the question is, how quickly can we do it?
How do you do that?
So as I said, probably the one thing, and this Masterbrand campaign is going to help us do it even more. I believe very strongly in building relevance to people's lives. In the end, I know when a mom looks at this film, she's going to say, hey, I want my kid to be like that. I want my kid to, have the ability to meet all and achieve everything she wants to for the day. And that's what moms want. That's what this campaign is going to do. It's the first of what is going to be a series of advertising that we do. And my prediction, it's going to be one of these, Kuch Kar Dikhane Ki Book is going to be one of those ad lines that's going to become iconic in the Indian parlance.
Yeah. Also, Prashant, if you can share with us, are these inflationary headwinds impacting your plans in general for the country?
For sure they are, right? I would be silly if I said they weren't, because even though we've grown, we've had good, strong double-digit growths last year, I know it's been tough to come by because of these headwinds. And every time, especially a low penetration category, is almost forced to take up prices because of the RM and PM and all the other inflations we've seen, it does push our agenda back a bit. And unfortunately, those headwinds haven't completely gone away. So, we're seeing prices remain at a fairly high level as we go into this year as well, and almost becoming, the new normal, if I can put it that way. We hope they go back down, but as of now, we have no choice but to, keep our pricing or continue to take price increases to make up for these huge headwinds that we are seeing. They do push us back because ideally, when you're a category looking for penetration, you do want to keep prices competitive and low so that consumers can come into the category as easily as possible. So I can say they push you back, they push you back by 6 months or 1 year. But I don't think they fundamentally change the trajectory of what's happening. If people are looking for nutrition, they're going to come and find it one way or the other.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining. Welcome back. You're watching Storyboard. Revenge travel was one of the key trends of the past year. This was good news for OTAs like Flipkart Group-owned Cleartrip. In an exclusive conversation with Dilshad Irani, Cleartrip CEO Ayyappan R gives us a quick recap of the company's growth in 2022 and the growth strategy for 2023. He also sheds light on the key trends and expectations from the travel industry and what end users can look forward to this year.
Welcome to Storyboard 18, Ayyappan. It's lovely to have you on the show.
My pleasure, Dilshad. Thanks for having me.
I would love to just sort of dig into, the past couple of years. Travel, of course, came back with a vengeance once restrictions lifted. And one of the key trends of the past year or so has been the idea of revenge travel. So quickly, if you could tell me a little bit about how Cleartrip how did it fare in terms of capturing that pent-up demand, essentially? And how has the past year been for you?
Yeah, I think it's been phenomenal, which is basically the last 12 to 14 months is when the travel has been truly back. And a lot of travel players did not foresee the sort of pent-up demand that is going to come in. So this includes even airlines, hotels, OTA players, everybody. So the supply started getting crunched. So it's very strange to see this because usually you expect that the demand would be slowing, and you know what, what do I do with the parked flights that is going to be on the tarmac? But very, very surprisingly, the demand came up so high that actually the number of flights that are flying now are not good enough for catering the demand that is coming in. So across domestic flights and hotels, firstly, this is like a huge boost. Also, in a way, I would say it's a blessing in disguise for the domestic tourism, because I would say international tourism is not completely 100% back, but when it comes to domestic, it's truly back. And that's one. The second is like the prices. If you look at it, it is like easily 15 to 20% more than what we have seen pre-COVID. And this industry is like one of the highest price point categories already. And India is known as a value economy. In spite of that, when you see that 15 to 20% price jump, in spite of that, consumers traveling is like unheard of. So if I go back and look at the numbers, usually it has a sort of an uplift during the typical seasons. Like there is summer vacation, there is winter vacation, there is this December and the Christmas, New Year. During these periods, definitely the demand goes up. But post that, it starts to come down. But what's very surprising is it's not been coming down at all. So the prices have been going up, down, but the demand has been there, right there. So for us, the platform as well, it's been a huge learning curve, because at that scale, and this is the exact period when Flipkart acquired Cleartrip as well. So it's like Cleartrip 2.0 for us. So that happening along with the revenge travel, it's like I would say a lot of changes happening within. And it's like I said, it's a blessing in disguise, not just for the industry, but for Cleartrip as a brand as well.
Tell me a little bit about the customer insights, consumer insights that informed, the strategy, the concept that you came up with. And because essentially what you're saying is that travel is not an expense. It is not a luxury. It's something that you invest in. So just a little bit about the campaign.
So 22 was all about, like I was talking about earlier, it was about creating that flexibility for customers. So we had to launch products like Cleartrip Flex, Cleartrip Flex Max, where consumers don't need to be scared about like, what if I get COVID? What if there is a COVID fear in the country? And if I cancel, will I get the refund? So it was all about creating that flexibility so that they can cancel and get the money back. They can modify the flight without paying any additional charge. And if they need to take a refund, they can do that in 24 hours. So all of this was sort of name of the game for 2022. But come 2023, I think people are starting to move on from that. And we also realize that consumers are saying that, and it's a complete set of an insight and what we have been able to gather from the consumers, right? It's more working customers backward there. Because typically, if you look at it, in the OTT space, like which is your digital video streaming platforms, I've seen players talking about, what, my biggest competition is the sleep, right? And that's what we are fighting against. Very similarly for us, that's what we when we were looking at it, the customers were talking about is like, why is travel spoken about as an expense? Right? It's a time where we invest with families, with friends, with our loved ones. It's about taking those thrills, taking those adventures, taking that sort of an experience. I learn a lot. I grow a lot as an individual. So whenever you speak about growth, when you speak about learning, when you're speaking about fun, it cannot be an expense, right? So that's where it became a sort of a strategy for us, or the consumer insight for us to consider travel not as an expense, but investing in yourself. And this is the only investment which is not subject to market risk, right? Irrespective of what's going to happen, and we all know what's happening in the market, there is going to be an absolute resistance to the market risk when it comes to this industry, because you can be rest assured when you are going to travel, you're just going to have fun and you're going to learn a lot. So that's where this entire campaign came about. And specifically, we also wanted to target a few segments,
which are again informing your strategies on the product front, services front, and your marketing outlook for the year to come.
So I'll talk about maybe 2 or 3 big behavior changes that we have started seeing, right? One, consumers used to plan their vacations way ahead of their actual vacation. At least if you look at the domestic flight ticket booking, it used to happen like 3 weeks ahead of the journey. Post-COVID, people are very finicky about it. People are very daisy about booking just in the 3-week period because what if something changes and some new COVID wave comes in and all of that. So because of this, the ticket booking has started becoming the 2-week sort of an affair. So if my travel date is going to be on the 1st, then I book my tickets only on the 18th or 19th of the current month. So that is one huge behavior change we have started seeing. And also internally, it makes it difficult for the airline partners also to plan that way because you need to deploy your aircrafts basis the demand that you see. So that's where our flexibility constructs that we started investing as well started helping. Because this way, people are able to book way early and still don't need to worry about like what's going to happen if the plan changes. So this is one big consumer behavior change. Second is when it comes to domestic vacations, the lot more domestic vacations used to happen within the state because when it comes to international, people were able to move outside and especially Southeast Asian countries, US, Europe, Australia, and all these countries. Now, because of visa issues, because of the international supply is not still at par with what it used to be pre-COVID, people are actually thinking of taking vacations domestically, but outside their state. So from the search and from whatever data we could see from the consumers, at least 60% of the travel intent seems to be outside the home state that they are part of. Earlier, it used to be much higher. So we believe this is happening because the international demand is moving into domestic, but it is happening outside the home state because that's when they want to spend a lot more time. It's not about the weekend getaway, but it's about like spending that 7 days, 10 days, 15 days. Because like we all have seen, every organization, every corporate has embraced working from home, and the flexibility in working has gone up multiple notches up, right? So because of all of this, people are able to take a larger buckets, whether it's off or not, they are going and working somewhere. Weekends, they are trying to take the time off and working from anywhere. So the second behavior change is definitely about this. Third, very, very unexplored sort of places are something that we are seeing. If the usual suspects like your Goa, your Northeast, your Kerala, all these are like sort of usual suspects. But what we are seeing is that people are even exploring places like Hampi, people are exploring Jodhpur. Within Northeast, they are going and exploring places which generally doesn't see a lot of footfalls. So these are again indicators to see that people are traveling like there is no tomorrow. And I don't want to just go to the usual places. I want to go to places where people have not been. I want to flaunt about it. I want to Insta about it. And that's how the behavior has changed. So which is very good to see. But so overall, it's been very good for the industry, such behavior change.
Thank you so much for your time. It was lovely chatting with you, Ayyappan.
Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, it's a wrap on Storyboard this week. You can catch all of our content on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time next week. See you soon.